Check, everyone.
See, we were bragging too much.
I know.
We were
It's all right.
bragging too
My
much.
mom says,
all
stay
right.
That's what
calm.
got us in trouble.
It's
Stay
all
calm,
right.
everyone.
Hey, thanks for letting us know. I say this all the time, and that's a prime example of it. This show relies on class participation. So
Everyone
thanks
gets
for
an
letting
A.
us know that you couldn't hear us. It's a flip of a switch that we didn't do
All right.
because we had to reboot the system. And for some reason, when we reboot the system, it doesn't pick our relay out.
All right,
So we have to
great.
reset the relay.
Ooh, thank you, everyone.
Let's get back into it. I'm just
Okay.
going to go right back into it.
Hi again, everyone.
Hi, everybody. We're sitting here with Dave Charles from the Strive Initiative.
Hi.
Dave's going to talk to us about what he's achieved, what he's working on, the future of Strive, everything. For those that are watching that don't know, Dave, like myself, OG Pottstown, right?
Here's some good
Facts.
stories
Huh?
before we got
Facts.
on air.
Facts. OG
Pottstown.
P-Town.
I've known Dave for a long, long time. Dave's a little bit younger than me, but
Which
we
makes
grew
him
up
a lot
together.
younger than me.
Right. But we grew up
Wrong.
together. I was a teenager. You were like a tween
Yes.
guy at
yes.
the pool.
Yeah.
So I've known Dave for a really long time. Dave's got a lot of the same kind of stories that I do about growing up here in Pottstown, growing up in the hood. You lived in Bright Hope for a little while?
Yes.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Bright.
In Bright Hope.
It was Penn Village.
It was Penn Village
Okay.
back
yeah,
then.
Yeah, it was the Ville.
The
So
Ville.
that's why people call it the village. I
The
never
village.
understood why
Yeah.
people
Oh,
called it the
yeah.
village.
It's still called the Village. People
yeah,
still
oh,
call
yeah.
it the Village.
We haven't really switched up on that.
And it's been Bright Hope for like over 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. That was the village was incredible.
Uh-huh.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because we were all close knit.
Yeah, your
Right,
friends were all there,
Together.
right?
You had a
Living.
it was a real neighborhood over there.
It was a community. It was family.
Right.
Guys, girls that I see to this day.
Mm-hmm.
40 years ago.
Right.
We are still close.
Uh-huh.
Connected, love each other. It's beautiful.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's how I grew up.
Right. So now you're trying to bring that community mindedness, the connection, and everything together. So tell us how you got started with the Strive. What was the impetus to get you started with Strive Initiative?
Well, growing up in music for a lot of my life,
Right.
I traveled the world, lived in a lot of places,
Mhm.
came back. I connected with Louis Rieger
Okay.
with the High Street Music Company, and I was just really into music at this time, and we partnered in the company for a little while.
Okay.
But the way Strive was started was we were thinking about music lessons
Okay.
for kids in the community
Okay.
that couldn't afford
Okay.
music lessons.
Right.
So that's where a lot of it started for me.
Okay.
And we didn't finish our paperwork with the High Street Music Company. I partnered with another young guy, and we sort of had a similar mission
Right.
with helping young people through music, through discipline, accountability,
Right.
music lessons.
And they've done a lot of studies to show that kids that study music get better grades in math. There's a connection between increased math grade and the study of music, specifically learning how to play an instrument, how to read music, how to read the scales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have read some of that
Uh-huh.
and some research for sure.
Right.
Yes.
So that early introduction was, we're going to try to help kids connect with music in the community. Some of these kids are going to be coming from low-income backgrounds.
Yes.
So let's find a way to provide some music instruction to these kids, disadvantaged youth, so to
Yes.
speak.
Dave, how
Yes.
did you get started in music? Was it through the Pottstown schools?
I got started through cousins of mine in Penn Village.
Okay.
Break dancing.
Yes.
My older cousins, I started when I was 5 years old. And I partnered with a lot of them and a lot of the Thorpes
Okay.
that live here.
Yeah.
Johnny,
Yeah,
Wesley.
Yeah. I
They
knew
took-
some of those guys.
They took me under their wing at a young age, and they were mentors in my life. Deep mentors, men loving on me, and there was the music and the creation. It was birthed. That was it.
Was Brian Carter Sr. one of them? Because he's
Brian?
saying hello.
Yeah, Brian Carter Sr. is
Yeah.
saying
That's
what up.
that's my family, the
Yeah.
village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Carters.
He said, what up? Because
Rose Cavallero.
Rose, that's my sis. we worship together.
All right.
Yep.
So you got your people logging in, man.
Well, that's
They're
good.
watching you.
That's
They're here to watch
good.
you. So what I want to try to get to is how you started going into the middle school.
Okay.
Because that's kind of where I pick you back up.
Sure.
Like I always knew you from the community. I saw you around. You and I definitely see each other a lot
Yeah.
in social settings. We've been to the same community meetings and stuff.
Yep.
But I
Same.
started picking up on Strive when you started going into the middle school.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, I saw a lot of situations happening on social media with the middle school.
Okay.
You know, kids sort of a little bit of trouble happening when they were walking home.
Right.
Just some things going on. I reached out to Stephen Rodriguez and said, Stephen, I would love to come in and connect
Uh-huh.
with the young people and bring some community members in and
Right.
just start to build these relationships. And I said mentoring was crucial in
Mm-hmm.
my life.
Sure.
And Stephen was like, I'm all in for that, Dave.
Right.
And that was 2 years ago. And yeah, mentoring was always a part of what Strive wanted to do. We
Right.
just did it through music.
Right. That was the initial gateway.
Yes. So now in the middle school, you know, it started by that conversation with Stephen, giving some background of how I wanted to do things, you know, proposals and just everything that was going to be created to really make change.
Right.
You know, not just go in and hi, you know, like
Yeah.
really have some planning behind the community coming into the school
Okay.
to connect
Right.
with students and teachers.
So I mean, one of the things you're doing is you're literally going like, I know you do this. I've been in there. I've seen you do it. You go into the cafeteria and you walk around in the cafeteria and you literally sit down and eat lunch with some of these kids.
Absolutely.
Talk to them, start conversations with them, find out what they need,
Yes.
find out what they're thinking, feeling, saying, things of that nature.
Yes.
So is that how the mentor program is set up? Or is each mentor matched with a mentee?
Well, each mentor is matched with a mentee, but the way the program initially started was from me going in and doing an assembly called Building Trust,
Okay.
learning to respect yourself and others. So in our school district, you have to be vulnerable with the young people. And that's what the assembly was about.
Uh-huh.
And that was first.
Okay.
And then I started to go into the lunchrooms
Okay.
and show my face again and again and again. And I told the young people that I would bring community members in to connect with them.
Okay.
And then community members started to go into the lunchroom. And it just snowballed. And you have to start building trust
Right.
first
Right.
before you start connecting students and adults.
And it's that consistency that you did. You started with the assemblies, then you start showing up in the lunchroom. The kids realize that you're not blowing smoke.
Right,
Yes.
and you're going to be there consistently, and you're not going to disappear. You're going to show up time and again.
Absolutely. That's it.
Now, was that assembly, was that something that you designed, or was that something that you wrote, or you went out and found somewhere and started doing on your own? Like, where do you come up with the source material for this stuff?
I come up with it from personal experience.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and truth be told, Bill Ziegler from the Potts Grove School District, I did an assembly first at the high school, that same assembly.
Okay.
And Bill actually helped with some of that, the name of what we were going to do.
Okay.
So it's all a community thing. Isn't it?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So this was something that you put together. You basically presented it to some kids and some other educators, and then based on that feedback, you make adjustments about what you want to do and what you want to say based on, because obviously the way that you talk to a middle school program is going to be different than the way you talk to the high school program.
Yes.
Because I mean, at the high school, you're really dealing with adults
Yeah.
to
Yes.
a certain extent.
Yes.
Whereas the middle school kids are still in that critical age where you can reach them as kids.
Yes.
But it's a difficult age. That middle school is, to be that age is hard. 12, 13, 14 years old, that's a hard age to be, and it's hard to connect because they're not quite adults, and they want to be adults, but they're still little kids in some ways.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's such a difficult age.
It is, and I would say, man, it has been such a blessing to be in the middle school
Right.
with the students.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for adults to be open
Right.
and just vulnerable. They don't need all stories that are based on, I grew up in the village. They just need you to be who you are and real with
Right.
who you are.
Right.
And, I thought it could be difficult.
Right.
It's actually just been a blessing because they're open. They
Yeah.
want to connect. They want
Yeah.
attention. They want consistency. They want mentorship. And these students want to do well. Facts. They do.
Right. Right.
They really do.
No, I mean you can see it. I had 3 of my sons have gone through Pottstown schools. Right. Andrew, my oldest son, graduated
Yep.
in the spring. Got really nice scholarship to Temple. My middle son studies VOTEC, learning how to weld, learning how to be a mechanic. My youngest son has learned how to play 4 different instruments at the Pottstown schools. Now, my kids have the benefit that they have 2 parents who are involved in their education, right?
Right.
Some of these other kids don't have that push at home or whatever. But I have found the same thing because I coached soccer at the middle school.
Yes.
We had kids coming on the soccer team, never touched a soccer ball in their life. But they would show up and wanted to learn. They wanted to learn the game. They wanted to be better athletes. And all you had to do was show them that you were serious about teaching them
Yes.
and encourage them. And they were right there, man.
Yes.
They did it.
Yes.
I mean, we were going up against some teams from other school districts that have tried and true club programs.
And kids that have probably been playing since they're
Since-
4 and 5 years old.
Since they were 3,
3.
some of them,
Yeah.
right? We would take some of these Pottstown kids and show them some basics and put them out there on the field. Were they winning every game? No, but they were giving some of these better teams a run for their money. So my point is, I can see how that mentorship, that leadership, just that investment of time that you're giving the kid
Yes.
can turn them around.
Right. Just being there and, like Dave said, being real.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Did you And the time period that I remember, because one, I'm a parent. My kids went to the middle school.
Got it.
I think we've overcrowded the middle school. I don't think that decision to move the 5th and 6th grade up to the middle school was a wise decision. I think we should have kept the elementary schools the way they were, because it seems to me that you overcrowd that many kids of that age into a school that's not built to handle them. It's just a recipe for disaster. And it seems like that's the lesson we learned.
Sure.
So there's that part of it. But I will say this, I have noticed that there's not as many of these stories that we used to hear coming out in the newspaper, on social media, and everything else.
Yes.
That's since your program. Have you collected any data about maybe the incidents of the police having to go there, or the incidents of complaints about the kids walking home or their behavior around the school? Do you have any data? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just think it would be interesting to find out what the impact of your mentorship program has done.
So, because we've been in there for 2 years,
Yeah.
and 1 year was really building trust
Right.
with the students.
Yeah.
So our 2019
Mm-hmm.
going into 2020 was our first year to really connect students and mentors
Okay.
one-on-one.
Okay.
How many mentors do you have in the program?
30.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that was our first year to do that.
Right.
And then the pandemic.
Right.
Wah,
And-
wah, wah.
Yeah. And the momentum that was being built was incredible. And I would say this. I think that some of the change has happened because of Creative for Greatness,
Okay.
but because of other mentor programs in the community,
Okay.
other organizations with after school programs, the middle school staff, the principals. I mean, everyone was pretty locked in
Right. So you've got
on
multiple factors
Yes.
helping to alleviate the situations that Matt was talking about.
absolutely. I mean, from principals, us all being outside,
Right.
walking down
Yeah.
with the students. I mean, down to Franklin Street, just
Okay. Yeah.
hanging.
Right.
You
right.
know, and I think that intentionality from staff and from principals has helped change some things with the middle school.
Okay.
So it's a team effort.
Right. It has to be.
It has to be.
Right.
It has to be.
These 30 mentors that you have, where are you getting them from? I mean, are they all from Pottstown?
We've got
Are they
a
coming
few
from?
that are watching right now.
Oh my goodness!
Trinita and
Wow.
Laura.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Trinita, Laura,
They say they miss
Kismet,
being at the middle school.
Nancy,
Yeah.
Clinic.
Yeah.
I can't. Liz Peters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to not say someone,
Right.
but they're community members. They are totally connected in. Some don't live right in the borough,
Right.
but people have adopted this method of mentorship is important.
Right.
And it's mentors from all different backgrounds, you know?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So you're getting a diverse, and really that's what you need.
You do.
because you need that diversity
You do.
because you don't know what the need of each kid's going to be. So you have to have, in a perfect world, you'd have the right mentor for every single kid. But the more diversity you have in the mentorship, the better you are
Well,
able to
sure,
match
and
somebody up.
Then that's real life. You know, people of other ages and races and socioeconomic backgrounds. And,
Right.
And to, for the kids to learn how to interact with all sorts of different people.
Very important.
Yeah.
And, with the mentoring program, it was also an idea to bring community members into the school that could start connect with the staff as well.
Right.
And we don't have as many, diverse staff in the school at the
Right.
moment. And I believe we will get there. We're going to push for that. So some of my idea was bring some community members in
Yeah. To give that look.
to give that feel,
Yeah.
to give that
I just-
interaction, to give that part that we're missing at the moment,
Right.
you know?
I just read an article. I mean, I literally just read this article that there's a shortage of minority teachers,
Oh.
especially black male teachers.
100%.
And listen, I went back through my data banks. I did not have a black male teacher or professor until I got into college. And it wasn't until my junior year of college that I had a black male professor. Think about that.
I don't
Well-
think I've ever had a black teacher, male or female.
Well, let me tell you, that's an issue.
That's an
Yeah.
issue.
It's an issue.
Right.
We need people of all backgrounds, people of color, to be modeling
Yes.
and being in this place
Right.
that students are able to see themselves.
Right. Especially in a district like Pottstown.
Yes.
It would be great if the staff, the faculty and the staff in the schools was representative of the makeup of the community.
100%. And Amy, what you're saying, I mean, I feel the same way with the police.
Right.
Meaning it should make up what our community represents.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about it now, and I believe we're going to get there. We're going to push forward and slowly make those steps to make that happen.
No, it's not going to be a change that happens overnight, right?
No.
It took us hundreds of years to get to where we're at.
For
so
sure.
to think that we're going to change it in a day or a year or a month, that's ridiculous.
It won't happen.
But we can start having the conversations, and I think that's a good segue to some of the stuff that you're doing outside of the school. So let's do that. But before we make that segue, I just do want to remind everybody that you can also find this show on YouTube. You're watching it on Facebook right now. You can also find it on YouTube at Porchcast Pottstown. Those episodes stay up, so you'll be able to go back and look at them anytime. We're here again with Dave Charles from the Strive Initiative, because I know there's some people that tuned in late and missed
Yeah.
the
Thanks for tuning
introductions.
in, everyone.
Thanks
Dave,
for tuning in.
Is STRIVE an acronym?
Strive is an acronym.
All right. Tell us
For
what it's.
strengthening tomorrow requires initiative and vision every day.
Every day.
And our mission is to unify and strengthen our communities by facilitating and fostering connections that equip and empower stakeholders, especially our youth, to make positive personal, professional, and societal
Change.
impact.
Yes.
Oh,
There's your elevator speech.
there it is. There it is.
You're done.
And I have to say that mission, that's we're in a capacity building phase
Right.
with the Strive Initiative, and that mission actually is community born
Right.
from community members and people that aren't even on the board right now. We did a retreat. We came together and we really thought about our community and what we were doing with Strive, and we just been pushing and pushing, and we're here.
Right. So let's talk about something. These community conversations.
Oh,
How many of those have you had so far? I know there was one previously, right? You were just supposed to have one this past weekend, but it got rained out.
yes.
But you've had those. You've had them before.
Well, we had a few last year.
Okay.
And it was something we started to think about with the community conversations and bringing people together. We knew that was something that was needed in our community.
Right.
people being connected to each other.
Right.
And we have some data
Okay.
to actually represent what the community feels about being connected.
So in addition to these conversations that you were having, or really the purpose of the conversation was to be data collection. So you were trying to get some input from the community about what the issues were, how people wanted to see them addressed,
Yes.
etc. And then you're taking that information
Yes.
and then using that to build the different initiatives within Strive.
Yeah, well, not just within Strive.
Okay.
We're not focused on any other initiatives
Okay.
besides mentoring and community conversations.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
With the data we're collecting, we're using that for community
Okay.
to share. And there may be other organizations that are more equipped to do those things
Right.
in that area.
So it's very similar to some of the work that we were doing with the community meetings that we were having down at Christian Victory Life Center when we started working with Habitat for Humanity on the Rock the Block program. We had a series of community meetings where people came in, they talked to the people from Habitat, the people from the community, the people that were organizing it, and we collected a lot of information and basically broke it into what we thought was immediately achievable, things that might take a couple of months, things that could take a couple of years.
Yes.
And then we started trying to find ways to get those things done.
Yes.
The other thing that we did during those listening sessions in those community meetings, specifically for trying to revitalize housing in Pottstown, was we were able to identify, just like you're doing, I think, different stakeholders who could participate in bringing people together.
Yes.
Because I think, maybe you'll agree, maybe you don't, I think for too long in Pottstown, everybody's kind of worked in their own silo.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to fill their own silo.
About, people all spinning plates separately
Instead of bringing it together.
Yes.
And through the community meetings that I was involved in, that's what we were able to do. We were able to identify a couple of different organizations that had overlapping missions. So instead of everybody's out trying to do their own little thing, we tried to bring them together to do one big thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To increase, like you're saying, to increase that impact.
Yes. That's the mission.
Where do you? I mean, you've been doing this now for 2 years, and you've been talking about it and doing it. I don't want to say just talking about it because I know you're doing it. What's the future look like for you? I mean, what's the? It just seems to me when you plug into the news, you look at social media. One of the things that frustrated me, that kind of took me out of some of the things that I was doing, was the constant negative feedback that we were getting from people who were only trying to help. We're only trying to help you.
Right.
And you don't want to see anything that we're doing positive. All you want to do is complain about the next thing. That got tired for me. I'm telling you, it got real tired. Especially, I worked in a capacity where we were bringing tens of thousands of dollars. We were bringing vehicles. We were bringing all kinds of stuff into Pottstown, and people only wanted to complain. Man, like a switch, it turned me right off.
I feel you.
So,
I feel you.
There's a lot of that. I mean, there's a lot of that. In
Oh, there
Pottstown.
is.
I mean,
So
Pottstown really knows how to come together. We've said that.
I
a
think
lot,
so,
right?
too.
So we have a really tight, committed community,
yeah.
but there's a lot of squeaky wheels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to name names, but
No,
there's,
Oh
you see
yes.
You see them creeping in.
them. Yes, and
You do.
Halloween's coming. Creeping in.
Creeping in. So, where do you see the positives? Where do you see that you've had the biggest impact, or where do you see that you're starting to roll downhill a little bit rather than having to keep climbing it?
So, here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I believe every student in the Pottstown School District would benefit from a mentor if they wanted one.
Okay.
We are not going to stop until every student is connected with a mentor
Right.
from the community, from the business world, from wherever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
We are very focused on that.
Okay.
And I feel so positive about the way the current mentors have showed up, have been committed, have stuck to the mission.
Right.
And I feel very positive about the mentoring program.
Okay.
So how does somebody become a mentor? So they contact you. What does that process look like? The background check and all of that stuff.
You
right?
have to get all your background checks done.
Mm-hmm.
You have a mentor interest survey.
Okay.
We want to know your background. We want to know what your career interests are.
Right.
So once they take the mentor interest survey, then I do an interview with them. We also ask for 2 references, and I do an interview. We usually go into the school for a few run-throughs in the lunchroom
Okay.
to make sure this is something that
That
they're
they really
into.
want to do.
Yes.
And I guess that starts opening the door too, because they're going to the lunchroom. So now the kids are seeing them. You're bringing a new person in so they can start to like acclimate
Yes.
to what
Right.
the situation
And then
is.
how do you identify the kids that are in need of a mentor, or do they self-identify, hey, I would like to participate in this program? How does it work from the kids' end?
Well, we work closely with the staff at the middle school and the guidance counselors.
Right.
And our last year, we worked really close with Beth Berkheimer, the Dean of Students. She really helped push through and got things done to where we can connect students and mentors. And let me tell you, Laura, you know Laura.
Laura
Laura
Johnson.
Johnson?
I wanted you to say it.
Yeah,
She's
she's a regular watcher on the show. She
See?
watches the
I
show.
know.
Yeah.
She has provided us with a lot of information about what's going on in the
Yes.
school district for fair funding.
Yes.
And we're working on getting her on the show.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes. Laura is my sister, and I talked to Laura about this program sort of before the last year got going.
Yeah.
And this is something that's important. Laura said, come to my house and eat with me and my husband and my daughters. We want to connect with you.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
No.
She wanted to
She
connect.
wanted to connect.
Break bread
Right.
with her daughters and husband and
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
explained the program, what was going on. She said, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
We talked, we prayed, we cried,
Right.
and she rolled up her sleeve.
Yeah.
And got dirty.
Listen,
She walks the walk.
she walks the walk,
Right.
and she helped push,
Mm-hmm.
along with other mentors for sure.
Sure.
But she was on the ground every day,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with mentors,
Yeah.
students, with me, teachers, just really, really encouraging.
Right.
So I wanted to say that.
Okay.
How
Very-
often do the mentors come to the school? We had somebody ask a question.
The mentors come to the school once a week for 35 minutes.
So that's during the lunch period?
That's during the lunch period or during the mentor morning AM block,
Okay.
which is from 7:45 to 8:30.
Okay.
So we have those 2 times to connect with students.
Right,
Okay.
so it's
There-
once a week, less than an hour,
Yes.
either the middle of the day or early morning if you're an early riser.
Yes.
Right, so not a huge time commitment
No.
to make a very large impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And staying consistent.
Right.
So would somebody ideally have the same child to mentor for their 3 or 4 years? What age does the program start?
Well, it's a middle school program right now, so we have 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, I
Right.
wasn't sure if it was right at 5th or if you started in 7th.
No, it could be any student in the middle school that's recommended.
Okay.
And it's a year commitment, but we're asking that mentors
Stick with it. Yeah.
commit.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
once they start developing that relationship with the kid, that's going to make it easier too. Because if you're successful, well, let's just put. I know for me, I'm a competitive person, and once I see that kid starting to do better, I'm going to want to stick with it because I want to see my job get done.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So, full disclosure, I am a mentor in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So I participated in that program, and it is not easy to connect.
Yes. Well, thank you.
So it's been. I thought I was making some pretty good progress, and then COVID and started it back up this fall, and my student has not been able to participate online for various reasons. So now we've gone 7 months with no contact, and I was able to finally text her and reach out to her and said, "Hey, little sister, how you doing?" She's like, "I'm good, but who are you?" It's like, I totally thought I had made more progress, and she didn't even remember my name.
So you pulled the start over card in Candyland,
Oh, man,
unfortunately.
Exactly.
Now, how are
I
you
was
guys?
A little discouraged, but I'm gonna stick with it.
No,
Push
it's
through.
good. It's good to stick with it.
Yeah.
And we've
I'm
had.
not going anywhere
No.
now. Like I'm gonna dig my heels.
I
in
love
even
it.
More.
I hear a lot of great things about that Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. I know Twyla Fisher is also a mentor in that program, and
Twyla and Kathy.
Yes,
and,
yes,
there's a
yes.
lot of folks from the
and that's
community
great.
in there.
And that's what I mean by there's many mentoring programs that are helping our community.
Yeah, and
So-
there's I think the First Presbyterian Church has a program at Barth.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
they over there. Doing
They've been
that.
there for 21 years or
Right.
22.
Okay.
One last thing about the mentoring.
Okay.
Yes.
I did want to ask you a real quick question. So if you can, hold on to the thought.
Okay.
How are you overcoming the COVID? Like, how are you overcoming this?
Oh man, with mentoring,
Yeah.
it has been the toughest
Yeah.
situation ever.
Right.
I
I mean, just getting the kids online for school and
Is-
to check into classes, let alone an extracurricular like this, right?
Yes, it's been tough to connect with the parents.
Oh, okay. Right.
That our mentors have been like ready to go, but it's been really tough. I
Yeah.
mean, I've called every parent, and it's been tough.
Gotcha.
Like that communication
Right.
hasn't been there, but we are dealing with a pandemic.
Yeah, that's the
Sure.
same
So-
issue with my
Yes.
little sister in the program, is that connecting with the parent to get the permission slip.
Yes,
And
yes.
when the permission slip is gained, then just getting them to connect online at the right time.
So
Yep.
it's, I guess for the times that you are making a connection, you're using like Zoom or some other type of electronic connection, or
Well,
can they call each other?
well, some can, but again, getting protocol
Gotcha.
to make calls,
Yeah.
texts,
Yeah.
emails. I've been through a lot of that,
Yeah.
but the connecting with the parents,
That's
it's been tough,
yeah.
really tough. I mean, my mentee, I connect with him weekly, and I connect with his mother. I know his mother, so we still been in touch,
Right.
connecting on the phone. We went out to eat
Right.
with another gentleman that is wanting to get into the mentoring program.
Okay.
So it's the difference is the parent
Gotcha.
reaching out and saying, "Hey,
Yeah, this is okay.
yeah,
Giving it
yeah,
to-
yeah,
Right.
The new situation is okay."
Yeah.
But people are going through things right now.
Sure.
It's not easy.
Right.
So what were you going to say then? Because
So
you were in the middle of something, but I did want to get to that question selfishly.
yes, no, it's okay. I feel you. We are circling back around to parents, and there's some better connection with the guidance counselor at the middle school
Okay.
and parents.
Okay.
So it's going better.
Okay.
One thing I want to say. I got this big afro on, so it's hard to maintain. But I did want to say this. So you said, how do you feel about moving forward?
Yes.
And that's about the mentoring. And then we can go and move on about the community conversations. I was eating dinner at Ori
Yeah.
down here. My buddy David owns that. And we were talking about the mentoring program. And I realized in this conversation with him that our middle school has 2 guidance counselors
Right.
and
1,000 students.
students.
A 1 to 500 ratio is not workable.
That's
But
a
here's the
pretty big
thing.
number.
But here's the thing.
That's that new math.
That's
Well done.
half.
Well done.
And here's the thing. So when you ask, what are you going to do about the future?
Yeah.
I'm not stopping.
Right.
1,000 students?
Yeah, for 2 guidance counselors. That's
I'm
insane.
calling on all people interested in mentoring.
We're
Did
putting
you
out an
hear
APB.
that number?
Yeah. It's staggering.
All right, let's see some Porchtonians.
Now, somebody
up.
did throw up one of the links. Katie O'Neill threw up a link to, it looks like a Strive Initiative volunteer lead letter. So you can click on that link. The other thing that I'll do is right after the show, Dave, let me get together with you and take some notes, and I'll create a post on Macarena Glocker Real Estate that'll have links for how somebody can jump over to Strive and learn more about what you're doing and
Yes.
and connect with you.
100%.
I do that for every buddy that comes on the show, whether a nonprofit or a business. I'll create a separate link. People can go back to the Macarena Glocker Real Estate page and make some connections. And we have been successful in making a lot of connections. So hopefully you landed on the right porch.
I hope I did.
Because the
I think I
Porchtonians
did.
will step.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're going to get a contact from some
Yeah.
Porchtonian over the next week or so, reaching out how they can help you, because it happens all the time. I got to give a credit to our viewership.
Yep.
They care about this community. They're connected to this community, and they want to do something to help.
Right, and there's a
So-
lot of folks watching right now that are already part of the program.
Yes,
so
yes.
Thank
I
you.
mean, the mentors in Creative for Greatness are good people, man.
And obviously, they love the program because several of them have commented
Yes,
that they
yes.
miss going to
And
the school.
and again, when I went into the school to talk to the staff, I said, and it was about 20 mentors. We went to talk to about, it was like 50 or 60 teachers. And I said, this is a program of we. This is not
Yeah.
my program.
Right.
This is all
Like-
of us.
yeah,
Everybody
like-
benefits.
I love what I do with Strive, and I love the Creative for Greatness, but I don't have founder syndrome.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't
Yeah.
have to take the credit.
I want someone young to be raised up, girl or guy,
Uh-huh.
and to take over one day with this and build, a community organization that is homegrown from Pottstown.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's a program of we.
Okay.
And if we don't get involved,
Right.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, and also
Yeah,
if we
yeah, it's that
collectively,
easy.
all as a community, don't get involved, then we can't complain,
Thank you,
right?
Amy.
That was one of the things that I said to people repeatedly when I was involved in some of the work that I was doing, the community work. And it's not that I'm out of community work altogether. I've just
Yeah.
decided to go in a different direction. But I constantly went to people who I knew were complaining and saying, "Look, put your money where your mouth is. You want to complain? You have some ideas? Tell me what you think we
Put
should
up
do
or
or
shut
what we
up,
could do.
right?
Put up or shut up."
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're doing that. And that's part of this community conversation then
Yes.
too. It circles back around to that. If you have something to say, go say it.
Bring
Dave's
it.
listening.
Absolutely. I mean, creating an opportunity for the community to be who they truly are in a conversation, you
Right.
got to create a safe space.
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, I got on Facebook a couple months ago and I gave a Facebook Live on Negro, nigga,
Uh-huh.
and nigger.
Okay.
It was serious.
right.
But I had a lot of my friends from all backgrounds say I felt open.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's
As
one
you-
of those conversations that you gotta get uncomfortable.
You
I
have to
say
get
that
Gotta
all the
get
time.
Uncomfortable
You have to.
learn. And I'm sure that conversation, just by nature of the words you were talking
Yes.
about, is making people really uncomfortable.
I think it did, but I think and feel from the genuineness
Mm-hmm.
of the conversation, I think it gave people a way to feel like it was okay.
Right.
Like I feel you.
Yeah.
Right? And,
You know what I
and
mean?
A
Yeah.
growth opportunity, and to look at something from a different perspective that you're looking through a totally different lens
Yes.
than I am.
Yep.
So I want to learn about the lens that you're looking through, and that perspective is going to help me grow.
No,
I hope.
it's the same for all of us. I mean, Dave and I grew up in the same town pretty much at the same time, but my perspective as a kid that grew up in a blue collar to working middle class neighborhood is completely different than
Growing up
than growing up in Penn
in the
Village.
village,
or
right?
growing up.
And we only listen. Air miles, we only grew up a mile apart away from each other.
So let
in
me
some
ask you-
respects, had completely different experiences.
You're right. Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Did you ever have the cheese that they
Yes.
gave away at the
Yeah.
Ricketts?
Yeah. So my mom. So all right. Yeah. I'll tell my stories about government cheese. All right.
I mean,
So my mom used to work at the Ricketts Center.
Okay.
She worked for the Head Start program, which was headquartered at the Ricketts Center.
so you had a lot
So
of cheese.
when I was a younger man, my brother and I used to walk over there to meet her after school sometimes.
Got it.
And we would spend a lot of time playing bumper pool on that bumper pool table they had there in the rec room.
Wow.
So that's my memory of the Ricketts Center, was going there to see my mom and playing bumper pool. And growing up in this neighborhood, when I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, there was always some government cheese around. You go to somebody's house, they make you grilled cheese sandwiches, government cheese. But here's a good story. We were driving back from Philly one time. We were coming down Germantown Avenue out of Philadelphia, and the government cheese truck broke down alongside the road.
Well, how did you know? Did it say government cheese
I'm
truck
getting
on
to
the side?
that. You're gonna.
How'd you know that, man?
Here's how we found out that was the government cheese truck.
Okay.
There was this huge crowd of people gathered around the back of the truck, and you could see them like handing stuff off the truck, and you could see the package because we all knew what the government cheese package looked like.
Right? Was
They were,
like
it's a big brick, looks like Velveeta,
Yeah.
except it's more crumbly. It's
my
not
Aunt
as.
Jenny used
Oh,
to use
no.
government
Well,
cheese. Yeah.
Mine
Well,
wasn't crumbly.
It depends on which batch you got, I guess.
I think it depended on the batch, bro.
because I remember it being kind of being kind of crumbly.
Okay.
But anyway, long story short, my dad pulled the car over, and we got out. We got some government cheese.
Why
and
were
brought
they
it in.
offloading it? Because it was
Yeah, the truck was broken down. They couldn't get the truck to where it was needed to be, so they just started.
handing out. Imagine the red tape paperwork they had to go through after that. We just gave away all the cheese.
We just gave away all the cheese.
So they did have butter too.
Yeah, the butter. Yeah, go
A
ahead.
big block.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, because I know you were like, we grew up different, but I mean, there was a lot of us that had that.
Right.
And it helped. I'm going to tell you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It was helpful,
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. And, we're doing the same thing now in the community with the cluster. We have the cluster outreach,
Yep.
which can help people with food security. I'm on the board of the cluster outreach now. So we spent a lot of time talking about that and about how we can establish and maintain food security in the neighborhood. I just think the point that I was trying to make was we both grew up in Pottstown. We grew up around the same time. But,
Sure.
My family, we had the advantage that both my mom and dad worked. They both had college degrees.
Yeah, your mom just chimed in that your dad was the first black teacher at Pottstown High School.
My dad was the first black
Wow.
teacher at Pottstown.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's the experience that I came from. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We didn't have to live in government housing.
Yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
have to rely on food stamps or the government cheese. We
I get
didn't
it.
have to. My parents made enough money. Things were tough sometimes, yeah, for sure.
Sure.
But that's the only point that I was trying to make there.
I get it.
I mean, Dave and I, before the show, were still talking about some of the things. There was neighborhoods you weren't supposed to go into, right? You're not supposed to go over to Stowe. My mom did not like me riding my bike through Rosedale. We swam at Gruber Pool because we couldn't get into North End.
Right.
You could not get into Sunnybrook if you were black. You
got any-
couldn't.
You got any tissue back there?
Look,
No, I'm just saying, like, I
so
know.
These are things, and
Matt
Dave
was
and I-
very
it's not
clear
it's
about
not like Dave and
kicking
I are
Dave out of the pool, not because he was black, but
because he was
a
bad. He got
kid,
bad.
because he was a troublemaker.
I wish I
Sneaking
knew
under
more
the
about
fence.
mentoring. I wish I knew more about mentoring when I was a teenager than I do as an adult. My point is this. These are some of the conversations that we're going to have in this community in order to work things out.
Facts.
Because we're talking about things that didn't happen all that long ago.
Not that long ago.
We're not talking about the
talking about
50s or the 60s.
25
I'm talking
years
about
ago.
the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, where we were still dealing with these prejudicial attitudes, this bigotry, and this racism. It was here then, it's here now, and we're gonna have to talk about it. Period.
You're right. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So when a lot of situation was happening in our world around the George Floyd situation, a mentor of mine, his name is Randy Doty.
Okay. Yeah. I spent some time talking to Randy.
Randy is my spiritual father
Okay.
and one of probably the best just a man in my life.
Okay.
Right. And Randy invited me to his Bible study to have a conversation with some of the group.
Mhm.
And I really wish we as a community would take that type of initiative to be proactive, to allow other people to hear your story
Yeah.
from you that may not understand, but need to hear,
Yeah.
need to feel it. And I could tell you, when we talk about community conversations, we had one. It was 15 of us. We ate, we talked. We didn't all agree, but when I left, I didn't want to leave. I had to go off to work. It was beautiful. And it's something that's been inspiring me to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But he reached out. He said, "Little brother, I want to connect. I want you to connect. I want us to have this conversation." And we need more of that.
Yeah.
You know, but we also need safe spaces to have conversation.
No, that's no,
Right.
Dave,
Facebook is not the place to have these conversations.
and by safe space, I think what you're saying, Dave, is people are going to have to know that there's not going to be retaliation coming out of that conversation, because people are going to say and do things that are not well received by other people in the room.
Yes.
You know, I have this experience too, and we probably just had it. When I start talking about the fact that when I was a kid, I couldn't go to Sunnybrook to swim because I was black, that's going to make people upset because they remember Sunnybrook as being a great place where they grew up. People want to try to sweep that page of Pottstown history under the rug.
You can't do it.
I can't do it.
You can't do it.
I can't do it.
I don't want to do it.
Because if somebody comes to me point blank and say, "Hey, Matt, you were a really good swimmer back in the day. How come you never swam for Sunnybrook?" They won't let me in, bro.
Yeah. Let me tell you why.
I'm sorry. I don't mean that.
No, so I think, but that's what you're saying by creating a safe space. It's not a safe space where you're not going to hear something. It's going to be a place where you're going to hear something.
Yes. But we have to understand that people are going to bring their biases, implicit biases. We want people to bring who they are,
Right.
and what they've learned, what they've been taught,
Right.
whether we feel it's wrong or not.
Right.
It's bring it to the table, and then let's put all of those ideas of what we were taught, what we learned, put it in the middle of the table and ask, is that me or did I learn that? Do I really believe that?
Yeah. Right.
Or
it's
did
a
I hear
construct.
my great grandfather saying that
Right.
and I adopted that?
Right.
But do I really feel and believe that at my core? And that goes for everybody at that conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
And we got to do that.
They got to be willing to come to the table, though.
You got to be willing.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to bring every part of you.
Do you know what I think would bring people to the table?
What?
Food?
Apparently, government cheese. There's
Government
a lot of
no, everybody.
I said,
there's a lot of memories
Lord,
here.
if they brought back the cheese,
We'd have to make some grilled cheese
Listen,
Totally
and just
solve everything.
listen,
People
if they
love
brought
that
back the cheese and the butter,
right?
there wouldn't be room in the
I'm
center.
Just saying.
I'm telling you.
I don't mean to make light. I'm
No,
just saying
no,
a lot
no.
of people have fond
Listen,
memories of that cheese.
I wrote about that in a rap in my new gospel record about that time. I don't even make light of it because when you needed food and that was there,
right.
it was important.
It was no.
I don't take that lightly.
Right.
I mean, people are starving today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thank God that wasn't the case for me. You know, I feel blessed, man. People in this town really took me in
Right.
as a young kid.
No, there's a lot of resources in Pottstown, and I think that's what we're learning through the pandemic. That's definitely what we've learned through starting Porchcast and getting more people involved. The amount of different connections that have been able to make.
Yes.
And really, one of the things I think we're proving, and I don't know if it was necessarily our intention, but it's certainly been an outcome, is that we're proving that no one in Pottstown should be for want of anything. There is a service, there is an organization, there is a church, there's somebody here in town that can help you out regardless of what your situation
There
is.
are a lot of
If you want
resources.
help,
Yep.
I
if you
agree,
want to
man.
turn it around, you'll find it here in town.
Yes.
You just have to reach out and get yourself plugged in.
Yes.
There's no reason for somebody to be starving in Pottstown.
So can I, when you say resources,
Yeah.
I just want to say this. The Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation.
Yes.
I want to give, they've been so supportive of Strive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been amazing. And a lot of people don't know, but myself and a young guy, Anthony Lyon, we started Strive in 2014. We partnered with a lot of organizations
Right.
in town, but we never fundraise. We just partnered with other organizations who had funds.
I gotcha.
So we were bringing our program to another organization. So, you know, myself, I've built a relationship with Dave and Craig and Howard and Rose and Rachel and everybody, like a genuine love relationship. And then when Strive started to pick up a little bit more momentum, they were right there to say, we believe in you. You
Right,
know, we
right.
want to make sure you're rooted and grounded properly. And I'm just thrilled.
Right.
I'm thrilled. When you talk about resources, they've
Yeah.
been really helpful.
No, they when we started the show, during the stay-at-home order for basically something to do,
Yeah, mid-March.
and we figured it would be a good opportunity to test our
Yeah,
concept.
we're like,
Yes.
hey, let's do this. 2 weeks, no
2
problem.
weeks. We figured 2 weeks it'll give us an idea to test the new concept and what we were going to do. Well, here we are.
Right.
But as soon as people started latching on to what we were doing on Porchcast, Howard Brown, the Foundation for Pottstown, the Health and Wellness Foundation,
Yes.
was some of the first organizations that stepped up to the plate and started providing us with information so that we could get it out to the
That's
people.
great.
I've talked to Howard on the phone multiple times,
Yep.
sometimes for hours, about things that are going on, trying to pool our resources together, get more organizations working together, and then specifically as it relates to Porchcast, getting the word out on behalf of Pottstown,
There you go.
on behalf of the business community and the nonprofit community in Pottstown.
Yes.
So I have to agree with you. And again, it just goes back to the point that I'm making. There are so many resources here in this town.
There
so
are.
many.
And we appreciate what you guys are doing, Amy and Matt. Like, I mean, just providing a platform for people to come on and talk about what they're doing,
Yeah.
how they're impacting our community, why they do what they,
They do.
I think it's important.
It absolutely
you know?
is.
So we appreciate it, what you're doing.
I'm glad that you came, Dave. We're coming down towards the end of the show, and we have some news that we got to do. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Stay with us till the end.
Okay.
Thanks for. I could sit here and talk for 3 hours.
I
but
love it.
We're
Well,
not the
that's why
Joe.
we like to have
We're not the
guests.
Joe
I mean,
Rogan show yet.
You know, Matt and I can only talk at each other so long, so we like to have a guest on.
I got you.
And just like Dave's saying, we do want to be the platform for Pottstown. So if you are part of a nonprofit organization, a church, or a business, please contact one of us here, and we'll get you on the
Yeah.
show. We'll give you an hour to get your message out.
Yep.
We do not charge any fees to the nonprofit community to come on the show. And the fees, if you have a business, are very affordable. That's all I could say.
very
You will
creative.
find the advertising rates on Porchcast extremely affordable.
Yes.
But what we're giving you is a platform that people are now tuning into. They're searching out this information.
Right. And
Your
hopefully
message
some
will
people
get
that
out.
didn't know about what you were doing, know about it now, and,
That's great.
and maybe you'll step up
And-
to the plate.
And I guarantee that some Porchtonians are going to step up to the plate and sign up to be mentors. Like, I
There it is.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
I can feel that it's happening right now. Right now.
So can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a few more days
Okay.
with Amazing Rays.
So-
Oh, yes.
So
Excellent.
kick
Thank
this
you.
off. You start talking about Amazing Rays. I'll talk about Trellis for tomorrow.
Okay.
And then Amy will finish us out with the
But
news.
I'm going to chime in and say, Katie O'Neill, I don't know who you are, but thank you. She says she likes the lady in the window.
Okay. Well, we like the lady in the window as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. This show's nothing without Amy.
Exactly.
Without the lady in the window.
That's right.
So, Amazing Rays, there's nonprofits in the Tri-County area that each year in October, they do a huge fundraiser for all the nonprofits in this area. Strive Initiative, we're just honored to be one of the nonprofits. And if you want to donate to what we're doing, help us to continue building our base and roots for Creative for Greatness and community conversations, please donate there. There are matching funds
Yes.
for the donations.
It's
So,
a boost.
It's a boost, y'all.
Boosted funds.
Yep.
I'm
Amazing
gonna-
Rays / Strive Initiative. Or hit me up.
And
Yeah.
put the link for the Amazing Rays in the comments here. You'll have to seek out. There's 3 pages of nonprofits,
Yes.
but if you scroll through, you'll find Strive.
Yes.
That
So-
runs through Friday, folks.
We had Holly Parker on the show.
Yep.
Love it.
If you go back and look at that episode, you'll be able to. Easiest way to find it is go onto YouTube at Porchcast Pottstown, and you'll see Holly's episode up there when she talked about Tri-County Community Network, which is basically the Chamber of Commerce for nonprofits in
Yeah,
this
yes.
area.
That's a
good
That's
way
the
to
easiest
describe
way
it.
to describe it
Yep.
for people. So then also through that Amazing Rays and through Porchcast, and because I helped Hannah Davis buy a house on Queen Street, Hannah reached out to us at Glocker Realty Insurance, and we are teaming with Trellis for Tomorrow
Okay.
Such a
during
great program.
October so that we can help them get their boost through the Amazing Rays. So
Awesome.
Trellis basically teaches kids about gardening and farming and food security, entrepreneurship, social justice. The list of subjects that it covers is pretty broad,
Yes.
but it starts with teaching the kids how to garden in ways that are sustainable and then also in ways that support the community.
Yes.
So the food that they grow goes right to help underprivileged people in the community. There's also a crop share that they do. So you can sign up for a Trellis for Tomorrow crop share and you'll get fresh produce delivered to your door. Glocker, we would like to raise $500 by the end of the month to give to Trellis for Tomorrow. We've seeded that program. See what I did there?
See what you
See what I did there?
Nice.
We
well done.
seeded that program with $250 from Glocker Realty and Insurance, and we're hoping that our past clients, current clients, and supporters of Glocker and Realty Insurance will kick in, and we can get at least $500. I'd like to be able to beat that. If you would like to donate, the Glocker Realty Insurance office is a drop-off point. You can drop off between 9 and 5. Our address is 900 East Philadelphia Avenue. We're at the corner of 173 in the lovely borough of Boyertown, 19512. So you can come up and drop off your donation there, or you can mail it. And again, 900 East Philadelphia Avenue, Boyertown, PA. You can mail your donation in there.
Great.
That's how we're trying to help
it.
Trellis for Tomorrow
Awesome.
and the Amazing Race.
That's great.
You've done some work with Hannah, or she was
Yes.
helping you out with some of the stuff that you
Yes,
were
yes.
involved
That's an amazing program.
Yes.
Very, very thorough.
Yeah, go back to
program.
their Facebook page and look at the posts that they made over
Yeah.
the summer of the kids participating in their farm program. It was really
Yeah. Over the next 3 days, we're going to be having a post about Trellis for Tomorrow on Glocker Realty and Insurance Facebook page. There's already one post up. There was another post made today. There's going to be 2 more posts for the remainder of the week where you can learn more about the fundraiser and more about Trellis for Tomorrow.
All right.
That's my news.
News. The lady in the window is going to give some news.
So If the camera dies,
I'll talk
you'll
fast.
still hear us.
I'll talk fast.
Okay.
All right. I would be remiss if I did not also mention Go Forth in conjunction with the Amazing Rays. So if you want to see some fireworks next year on 4th of July, consider a donation there on the Amazing Rays page. Art Fusion has free art kits, 3 projects in each kit. 3 projects in each kit. These are for ages 8 plus. Call or stop by Art Fusion at 341 Beach Street, 610-326-2506.
The Art Fusion 19464 web page and Facebook page is super easy to find. Just type Art Fusion 19464 and it'll take you right to it.
Yep. The library is closed, folks, until further notice. Temporarily, due to an overabundance of caution. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, they were taking people in there on a reservation basis.
Yeah, you had to call ahead, but now the county library system is recommending that they shut down.
They shut down.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
Just about
they still
being
do
careful.
have a long list of stuff that you can reach virtually.
Yes,
I mean,
lots of
it's
books and
it's
resources.
books, videos, music, educational resources, job resources. Go to their website. I mean, even though it's closed, you can't go in there. You shouldn't get bored.
No,
because
you just
they've
can't
got
get your passport,
they have
which is
so
fine, 'cause
much
you
stuff
can't go
going
anywhere
on.
anyway.
It's
so.
unbelievable, and a lot of it is low cost or free.
Right.
So no need not to get yourself educated.
Halloween and Fall Craft Show at the Alley this Saturday, Halloween from 10 to 3. That's at the Alley, 228 High Street.
Yep.
And in case anyone was unaware, there's an election next week. In case you didn't get 400 texts, phone calls, and pieces of mail. But don't forget, if you live in the 26th, right?
26th district, you're going to want to vote for. I'm just going to put
that's
it out
Paul.
there. 26th district, you're going to want to vote for Paul Friel. 146, you're going to.
146 is Joe Cerisi.
146 is Joe Cerisi.
Right. So local folks, these are the folks that are getting it done. This impacts our life daily. So make sure you vote for our friends.
Joe's another guy. He's put his money where his mouth is. You see him walking around in town. You saw him climbing through arches underneath our town. You heard him say on this very porch he got $14 million back into this area that currently wasn't here. He did that.
Walking the walk.
Joe
Raking the leaves.
is on the ground.
Yeah, he is.
He is on the ground.
On the ground.
Every time I call Joe to talk to him about something in Pottstown, he's ready to talk and he's ready to move.
Yeah.
So really appreciate Joe.
Yep.
So we had both of those candidates on Porchcast. You can go back and look at their episodes. They're both easy to find on YouTube at Porchcast Pottstown.
Yeah, so if you want to hear what they have to say about the different issues impacting our area, go back and watch those episodes. But hopefully nobody's undecided at this point about who they're voting for in the local elections. Don't forget to turn your clocks back.
What? Is that today?
This weekend.
Oh,
That's
I was
not
going to
today.
say.
It's this weekend.
What day is that?
Saturday.
Saturday?
Fall back.
Fall back, spring forward.
Yep. All right.
Any other
6:16.
We went over a little bit. Not a big deal.
No.
But
Thanks for
Dave has a
hanging
lot of
with us.
stuff, important stuff to say.
Doing a lot of important work.
And I would say this. I want to thank the Strive Initiative Board of Directors.
There you go.
I mean, without the board, we wouldn't be moving forward.
Sure.
They're all like connected in, and they're working like their staff.
Right.
And I'm like,
you're
I'm
getting
just so
you're getting a work
grateful for
effort
them.
out of them.
And past board members, you know, we've had other board members on the board: Edward Murray, Bill Robertson, Alex Fizz, Michael Morriger. They all have helped us to get to this place.
Right.
And I'm thankful that people are invested
Yeah.
in the community.
Right.
In those two initiatives.
Right.
You know, the youth and bringing people together, connections.
conversations.
Yeah. It's important.
Here we are at the end of the show. Dave Charles, the Strive Initiative. Visit his website, visit his Facebook page, learn more about the organization. Most importantly, get involved.
Get involved.
Sign up to be a mentor. Attend one of the community conversations.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. Thanks for coming out, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it. Yep.
The
thank you,
show
Amy.
is nothing without your participation.
Facts.
Yours and the people watching. Thank you. I am Matt Green, Ecklocker Real Estate. I am your local real estate expert. Please call me for help selling and buying residential and commercial real estate in Pottstown and the surrounding communities. Amy Wolf is the lovely co-host that everybody likes, the lady in the window. Amy is the business manager at Wolf Baldwin and Associates, bringing you fine legal representation in the borough of Pottstown since 1973. Amy Morazes, video coach and video producer. Call her when you need your church Zoomed, you need your conference room Zoomed, you got a live stream from the Bible study. Call up Amy, she'll help you out. Amy Morazes, video coach and producer. We are Porchcast. Let's talk soon.
Good night.
Good night.